Hi guys, it's me, Melissa Saliva, and this is Kim, and tonight we're doing Topic Tuesday, a meeting of the minds. Um, Join us every Tuesday for a new topic about various topics that could just basically help you with your kids that struggle with reading, or if you have questions about special education. Kim is a talented occupational therapist and an advocate, and I am a reading consultant and founder of Beacon Valley Literacy. And basically tonight we're going to talk about visual impairments. So Kim was with me as a professional in this meeting, and my experience with vision and glasses and vision therapy is like or visual impairments and those types of things is limited. I know how it affects dyslexia. I know what the buzz is. I've done some research, but basically I go to a PPT for my youngster, and I go to the eye doctor, and I think the eye doctor's full of crap because I have 4 kids and 3 out of 4 kids got glasses. And I'm like, this guy just wants to make a buck. And these are fake glasses. These are blue blocker glasses they're fake glasses. I've never had glasses. So my youngster gets glasses, and we're at his PPT, and they're like, okay, so what are Elijah's glasses? When does Elijah have to wear his glasses? I'm like, I don't know. I really didn't know. Like the optometrist wasn't necessarily specific. He told me when he has to read, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, they're like, well, what is it for? Like, is he farsighted, nearsighted? I'm like, I don't know. And in that instance, I went from feeling like a professional and feeling like a parent to feeling like a legitimate like idiot. I didn't even know what his glasses were for. I made a joke about it at his triennial. Or at this PPT, this past PPT, but it's still like, I'm still kind of unclear about how all of this affects everything.
I think the confusion is because we use the word vision and acuity. We talk about vision and we think that's how clearly a child sees. And when you go to a regular optometrist, that's what they're really looking at. They're looking at how healthy the eyeball is. They're looking at, for general diseases and things like that. And then how clearly can we allow a student to see? So we all get these glasses, and this is how you see clearly. But then there's vision. And vision is how your eyes work and process information. So if your eyes, which are all muscle, aren't working together, then you start to see some interesting things when a child's being asked to learn things in the classroom.
And we know, I talk about my youngster, he has a speech difficulty that led, is a reading problem. But I just feel like I don't know if he had a vision difficulty. And I feel like maybe if these vision difficulties do go like undiagnosed when kids are little, then you use traction with the reading process. You lose traction with like helping these kids mature.
So you have to think about your vision as your farthest reaching sense. It is the first one that you use. If you are going to move your body, you look in the direction that you're going to go before you even move your body. When you're asked to do something, your eyes are the first thing that respond. So if your vision isn't functioning well, efficient, kids develop these really weird compensatory strategies that they use that allow them to kind of get by, but they're not efficient.
Right.
And so you see it in other things. If you can't smoothly track from one side to the other with your eyes, and your eyes bounce along the way, you are probably going to miss words as you're reading. Or if you're asked to copy from the board, you're not going to be effective in doing that.
Right.
And I think the cascade.
When you talk about vision as like a sense too, it's like I have a lot of traction when I work with kids with dyslexia because we do that whole multisensory approach. And when you talk about like vision as a sense, like we have our senses, and when we teach, we get this like, or when we even raise our own children, we get this little crash course about like, let them play with Play-Doh, let them do this, let them do that. But like vision as your farthest reaching sense and processing the world and information, it's kind of like mind-blowing.
It is. And it really goes all the way back to infancy. And, one of my favorite positions for kids is when they're laying on their belly and they start to like lift their head up.
Yeah, the
Because
wobbly neck thing.
the wobbly neck. But guess what happens? They use their eyes to get all of that together. And that's, where is my body? What is my body doing? How do I get this to work? Where am I supposed to go?
Mhm.
And then everything starts to develop from there.
So as parents, how do we, it's just like, as parents, how do we make sure that we're on the right track for
Okay.
our children?
Yeah. If you have concerns about your kid, like what I did, about 10 years ago, I attended a vision course and kind of got started in some of this as an OT. It was just my thing. And so when I started thinking about this, how did I incorporate it? I started incorporating it into my evaluations. So I do a screening that basically says there's red flags or there's not.
Mhm.
And so if you can do the 4 things that I have in my screening and you do them well and efficiently, then you're okay. It's not one of the red flags. If there's a red flag, what I ask parents and I tell parents is that they might want to share this with a behavioral ophthalmologist. And so here's the difference. Optometrists don't always look at vision as well as acuity.
Mhm.
And this is a very controversial topic. You won't find a lot of research on vision therapy or all of this stuff that has become kind of popular
Right.
recently, because it hasn't been around that long. And so you may see optometrists or eye doctors say, oh, poo-poo, that's not real. It's not, there's no evidence, there's nothing behind it. And then you'll see other doctors that'll say they want you to attend vision therapy. Your child needs exercises and these
Right.
activities that you can do. And I, from an OT, I'm going to think about this as motor. You
Mhm.
can train muscles, you exercise muscles, you can get them working more efficiently.
Right.
I want to work on those eyes. I want them trained. I want them strong. I want them to have the endurance needed to do what we are asking them to do.
Right. And as the reading consultant, I want these kids to be able to track print. I want these kids to have great vision. If they have dyslexia, that's a hallmark. It's not like that physiological vision problem. It's that visual processing problem, that impairment. And it's
Absolutely.
easy to work on with like multisensory. I feel like we have a lot of traction and ways to kind of like improve it quickly with good evaluations. It was funny because when you and I always talk ahead of time. And when we first talked, you were talking about how you do it in your evaluation. And the second time we just approached it, I have a visual discrimination task I use.
Yep.
And it tells me a lot of information too.
Right.
So I think as parents, it's just confusing. It's like the first visit to the eye doctor, or my kid's having difficulty reading or writing. So what is like the biggest takeaway for parents
The
when we
biggest
discuss this?
takeaway is, in my mind, as a parent, as an OT, as an advocate, the biggest takeaway is we cannot forget about this piece to a child's learning. We cannot forget about vision. It's not only about, did they pass the screening at the nurse's office for vision? Do they need to go see the eye doctor? It's that whole picture of what is vision, how is the child processing what they're seeing, and how are they then responding to what they're seeing?
Right.
Is it efficient? Is it
And
effective?
now we were supposed to stop our segment right at this moment with our biggest takeaway, but what does it look like for kids at different ages too? Like if I missed a visual impairment and I have a teen, because I work with older students,
Mhm.
it could look like lack of reading stamina. It could look like rubbing eyes. I don't want to read anymore. Like, am I wrong or am I on the right track?
Total avoidance, behavior issues. I won't take notes in class. I won't even try. What's the point? I can't keep up.
Yeah, it probably feels like, as a kid, it probably feels like something's just not right. And as a parent, it probably feels like, well, my kid's good at X, Y, and Z. So why don't we're always talking about the puzzle pieces fitting together.
Right. Right.
So does it look different at different ages? And does the problem persist?
Yes, absolutely. So when you're little, what does it look like? Hand-eye coordination issues, more gross motor kinds of issues that you are going to see first before you see the reading and the academic stuff. You're going to see these gross motor things that kind of just don't look normal to you.
Right.
Look a little funny, quirky. And then as the academic demands increase, you might see the frustration, you'll see the avoidance, or you see some really funky compensation where maybe they want the book really, really close to their face because that's where they can see it. Or maybe they want it further away, or they avoid copying from the board because
Right.
they can't do both.
Well, I'm always thinking of my students too, the older ones that like skip lines when they're reading and don't necessarily read it. We always think that's a comprehension problem, but it could be a visual problem. So
It could be
I guess
visual.
if we say, oh, what's the biggest takeaway again?
The biggest takeaway is you have to talk about it, and you have to look for people that can assess and figure out if that's a piece to your child's puzzle
At any age.
at any age.
All right. Well, thank you so much. As always, I love spending time with you. I hope this was helpful to our audience. If you need help, please reach out to Kim for support. You can reach out to me for support. Like our post on Facebook and subscribe to our channel and tune in every Tuesday for topics like this. Okay. Thank you.